Hey there again, everyone. This is Abra, and I'm back to give my 2 cents on Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest is a side story in the Cyberfrog series. As you can see here in the numbering, this is part of the numbering scheme that Ethan came up with. If it has a point something after it, then it's going to be a side story filling in the gaps of kind of what's going on in the main story. So these side stories will help flesh out the whole Cyberfrog universe and give readers a little more insight into what life is like for those few that survived. On the cover here, we have Heather Swain, looking quite terrified, but still quite beautiful here. I think Ethan did a really good job of conveying just the sheer terror that Heather must be feeling right there. Before I dive in any further, I think it goes without saying, this story picks up right after Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet, which is the second book in the new Cyberfrog reboot series. So if you don't want anything spoiled for Wrecked Planet, I do suggest that you click away, maybe come back after you've had a chance to read it. So you've been warned. Let's go ahead and dive in. First off, I wanted to say I love how this opens up. It shows how stark everything is. You have this matte black, which on a side note, Ethan has kind of switched to this matte paper, which I love. It has a really good feel to it, nice weight to it. But I digress. Anyway, again, I love how this immediately draws your eye. You see Lily and this other just haggard man here, and it just kind of causes me to go, whoa, what the heck is happening? And you just kind of get a little update here of what's going on. So at the end of Wrecked Planet, again, spoilers, she ends up discovering this cave. She's being goaded on by Anne O'Malley, another one of the survivors, but she is a witch, not just in terms of her behavior, but she's a full-blown satanic practicing witch. So just an all-around pretty creepy gal. So again, Lily is led to this mysterious cave as the result of Dystopia's manipulation. Here, as we start the story, we get some awesome artwork, black and white artwork by legend Dale Keown. I just love the detail in this. Right off the bat, as we get into the story, we get some dialogue here from Dystopia. Kind of gives you a little bit of a look into the manipulation. Lily's freaking out. She's asking for Anne O'Malley to save her, but the witch is just taunting her. I love the dialogue here. Precocious child, you are death's arrow, launched by the vengeful magician. The thing with the Dystopia, she's supposed to weave her magic through poetry, and things go from bad to worse, except not with the art, because this page is simply gorgeous. You have this awesome image here as the Vespis are kidnapping Lily and taking her to their hive, their headquarters hive. You have this very interesting dialogue between the two soldiers here with that snide cadence. The way they speak, it just makes you immediately not like them. They see the humans as vile, and anyone who would dare attack one of them, I mean, that is just the ultimate sin against them. And again, they're making their way back to their hive headquarters here. I really like how Ethan put in perspective just how massive this hive is. It's their ship, and they're taking her there. And look, you can tell how big the Vespis are on this page here. That beautiful artwork there. As we kind of get this wide shot, you can see just how massive everything is, because now the Vespis, they're represented here in these tiny images. And then, even further into the ship, you just see how dwarfed they are. We have the talented Kyle Ritter. He's just able to make everything pop with the colors. As you can see here, everything's red, orange, and yellow, but it doesn't get muddied on the page. Everything with the characters still kind of pop. And of course, the lettering by Eric Weathers, which he adds tons of nice touches here. I love how when the Vespis speak, you get kind of that static looking speech bubble around them. This was one thing that I really liked about this story. It gives you different perspectives for what was happening during Wrecked Planet. You get the different points of view from everybody. In Wrecked Planet, while we go and follow Cyberfrog because he's hearing the voices of the Vespis as they're amassing and planning for an attack, he hears the buzzing and it's droning in the back of his mind and kind of driving him crazy a little bit. You have Lily that you come to find out she's being goaded on by Anne O'Malley. and she's trying to get Cyberfrog's attention, but he's distracted. So now we get the perspective of her as she goes off on her own, unprotected, to try to search for her father. And I love this page here. Ethan did a really good job of just depicting how twisted she is while she's weaving her dark poetry, spinning her lies, and drawing Lily into danger. She looks like this twisted, demonic kind of creature. I thought that was a nice touch to just show the dark magic that's coming through her. Another thing that I really liked about Dystopia, see here, we kind of see her as Colin sees her. Colin is the leader of the survivors, the colony that Heather and Lily are a part of. And he's kind of, in my opinion, a grade A douche. He wants to stay in power pretty much at all costs. He's willing to let Dystopia put this child in harm's way, let the Vespis take her and essentially kill her in order for him to maintain control over the colony. And it's like, how sick is that? You get more of a glimpse inside of Dystopia's psyche because you see how she's just using Colin for her own means as well. So it just kind of shows you how she doesn't care about anyone. It's she's looking out for number one, and that's it. Lily ends up venturing into that cave, and she ends up discovering one of the survivors that was part of the Red roster group that her father was a part of. You are immediately struck by his haggard appearance. He looks withered and drained and almost like he's in this sedated state. Lily ends up seeing that there's more survivors in there, and then all of a sudden some more Vespis appear. These Vespis are a little bit different from the other soldiers that we saw earlier. These Vespis have the red eyes here, and then the Vespis that are in the cave, they have these kind of hypnotic glowing green eyes, just very creepy looking. And then you see what's even more horrifying. One of their survivors tries to tell Lily, run. And just as he's telling her that, the Vespis stabs him in the head with a stinger, and the Vespis here are literally just draining the blood and the life out of him. So not a very pleasant way to go, in my opinion. So yeah, the guy mentions here that they've been draining them and feeding off of them. It's not even a quick death for these poor people. They're just used essentially as blood bags for the Vespis. This scene here happens a little bit before Lily gets carted off and carried away by the drone Vespis because they get orders to take her back to the hive here. She's going to be used as a means to taunt Cyberfrog. And again, this is another perspective of what was happening from Lily's viewpoint. As Cyberfrog went to go investigate the humming that he was hearing and that was driving him crazy, he ends up attacking and killing a Vespis soldier. And so as punishment, they want to torture Cyberfrog by not only just beating the living crap out of him, but also taunting him with Lily. And so he's just at his wits end there. He's had his tongue cut out. He gets a stinger through the head. He's at a pretty low point. Then we flash back to Dystopia, and then you find out that she has been colluding with Scorpion. As we switch over to another perspective, we see that back at the survivor camp, they are in grave danger because that is where the Vespis, one of the Vespis ships, is heading. One of the young girls here that was Lily's friend, she goes to warn everybody. Colin panics and he tells the militia to get ready for war. And so concludes that particular portion of Dark Harvest. Then we get another interesting perspective. Part 2 consists of when Heather finds Cyberfrog, and this is after he has had his tongue torn out and he has that horrible stinger through his head and he is gravely injured. He's trying to tell his friend that poor Lily, her daughter, has been captured, but he has no means of communicating that. This is when, at the end of Wrecked Planet, we see that Salamandroid has returned. He has been alerted to his brother Trickeron's presence. It's a happy little reunion, but it's bittersweet and it's cut short, because they soon realize that they took Lily. I really love how this was conveyed, that the only thing that Cyberfrog could do was just kind of scrawl it in the sand. I think it was just really impactful how you see it on the page here. Once again, shifting perspectives here, we're back to Lily. And then you see she's now aboard the Vespis ship, And there are a couple surprises here for the reader. So all in all, I was very pleased with the story in this book. It kind of gives you more insight to some of the main characters, some of their motivations. I really enjoyed that. Always goes without saying, the art in these books are just top notch. Ethan does an amazing job with detail. All the detail in every page is just, it always blows my mind. It's incredible. He has received some flack for that because it does take a while. I mean, to have this level of detail in the books, it takes a while for him to draw out each panel, each page. For me, it's worth it. I love the amount of detail. I love how you can tell a lot of thought goes into each page, each panel. This book was just meant to be a little preview book, and I really appreciate how Ethan transformed it from just being a little teaser for book 3 into just really filling in the story, fleshing out the characters more. And I really, really enjoyed it. Dark Harvest has only increased my excitement for Red Extermination. I definitely recommend. I think you can still pick it up on Ethan's website. I'll put a link in the description below for that. So definitely check it out. I think it's a great idea that Ethan had to still continue the mainline books that will be the meat and potatoes, but have these little side story books where he can fill in a lot more for the reader about the different characters. I was completely satisfied with this, and quite frankly, a little blown away for something that was supposed to be a side book. I definitely got a lot of value here and a lot of entertainment. I think I'm going to go back and read it again here after this. If you like this video, please like and consider subscribing. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take care.